So next, we're going to go through the final presentations for this Insights to Impact section. It's my great pleasure to introduce the next three speakers, or three sets of speakers, because they're all SMG clients. We're very excited to have Heineken, Coke, and Comcast all speaking in this session. They've all done some great work in the Insights to Impact area. We'll start with Comcast, how they've translated tomorrow's largest audience into today's insight driver. Our three speakers are Silvina, Cendra, Planning Director of Grupo Gallegos, José Vélez-Silva, Senior Director of Multicultural Marketing at Comcast, and Adriana Waterston, SVP Marketing and Business Development at Horowitz Research. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Thank you, Kate. Well, we're going back to the Shark Tank, so in 10 minutes we're gonna start like hearing the sharks, and we have three Hispanics that we love to talk. So I don't know how we're gonna make it, but we'll make it in 10 minutes. First, we had a challenge at Comcast, and it was really understanding and reaching the bicultural Latino. Xfinity has grown in terms of market share, positioning against the Spanish dominant, and we have done a significant and very well job reaching this segment. But we were really underperforming among the bicultural and English dominant segment, Hispanic segment. We were of the belief, like many marketers, that I have an ad in English, I'm gonna reach the bicultural English dominant Hispanic. So far from the truth, and this is one of the things that we need to debunk, and we did with research. So now I'm gonna pass it to my colleagues that did all the work.
Thank you, Jose. So yeah, we're gonna really try to make it in the 10 minutes. So there were basically two huge research challenges, right? One was how to connect with the bicultural and highly acculturated Latino market with a cohesive brand message that resonated across the entire Hispanic market and didn't alienate Spanish-dominant Latinos, less acculturated Latinos, and also didn't alienate Anglos, non-Hispanics. So that was number one. Number two, the issue was, and what we wanted to learn from the research is, what can we learn about more acculturated and bicultural Latinos like us? How we think, how we see ourselves in the world today and tomorrow, and what our attitudes towards media and technology are, and how can that help inform the brand message for a technology company like Comcast. So that's what we wanted to achieve. So we first started with basically three phases, pretty traditional approaches to research. We did focus groups, a lot of focus groups across a lot of markets and across a lot of people that we met through that phase of the research. We did a major quantitative survey across 6 markets in the Comcast footprint. It was a multimodal study to make sure that we reached all Hispanics appropriately in this study. And then we finally did some copy testing and creative testing focus groups to inform the development of the message and the creative. And then after that, there was an A&I study to understand the impact of the ads. But one of the things is that we do a lot of work in the Hispanic space, and we really didn't want to take the traditional approach. The traditional approach to Hispanic research is we've got Spanish dominant unacculturated Latinos over here, and let's recruit them and segment them over here in these focus groups, and we've got the highly acculturated over here, and then we've got the biculturals over here, and 3 different silos. We really wanted to abandon that. So we really went to what the root of the problem was. What is the media message? And so we segmented all the groups, we recruited people, we sampled the quantitative study, all of that, not by those silos, but by a more realistic approach to how Latinos, how we might market to Latinos, which is by media usage. Really, the percentage of time that they spent with Spanish versus English language media. And so that's how we segmented all of our research. And that really was what led to a lot of insights for us. Because we were able to really reach those people in the blurred lines. When you segment people out by just language usage, then you miss a lot of the people that are in more blurred categories like us. What did we learn? Well, first of all, we learned that being bicultural is a concept that resonates across all segments of the Hispanic market in different ways, but it has meaning. And I can give you just a quick example. So a very unacculturated, Spanish-dominant, older gentleman told us that, and this resonated throughout a lot of the groups, that when he thought about this concept of biculturalism, he saw that through the eyes of his children and grandchildren in the future that they were going to have. So it was a concept that he understood and it resonated with him. Among the more acculturated Latinos, you know, they kind of held their Latino-ness off to the side. It was like a card they kept in their back pocket and pulled out whenever it was convenient or whenever it felt good. And then, of course, those of us more in the middle, are the real true biculturals, you know, they really felt anchored in both worlds. And really, they felt that both worlds were their oysters. So that was a big part of what we learned, and I'm going to move on since we don't have a whole lot of time. And, you know, among a lot of things that we did a really cool collage project. I'm telling you, you know, we talk about big data and all this stuff, but it's really just so much fun, some of these traditional, right, more traditional research methodologies. And this collage project, I just brought these two examples because I think it really showcases what we learned. I love this one, you know, with the USB cord sort of going across the three sections of the collage, which represented el pasado, nuestros raíces, our past, nuestro presente, our present, and then our future. And I loved how technology was that kind of intertwining, connecting metaphor across all three of those segments. And in the other example, how media really played a huge role. You see both the English language brands and Spanish language brands really firmly anchored in the experience. And this was just one example that I brought. And I'm going to now pass it on to Silvina to talk about what they did with it.
Yeah, so basically, we got a lot of information and a lot of really, really good insights. But there is one phrase, is this one, the sky is the limit, that actually captured the essence of what the strategy was all about when we wanted to connect with them. And if you think about the phrase, the sky is the limit, it's really talking about an attitude, it's talking about a feeling, it's talking about the way that you know, people feel. So that was exactly the point, the most important point when developing this. Because in many ways, traditionally, when you or companies try to connect with the bicultural segment, it was a lot about what the things that they have. They speak different languages, they have access maybe to different contexts, but it's not really that what really matters when you're trying to connect with them. What matters is what they do with everything that they have, what they do with the fact of how they feel because they can speak different languages. And what that means is that they can do more, they can be more, they feel they can have more. So that's what is critical in order to connect with them. It's not to connect through the things that they have, which is obvious, or maybe put in a mirror. It's really understanding and connecting through the feelings of empowerment that they get because they have access to a richer, more awesome life or a bigger world of opportunities. When we needed to implement the campaign and we were thinking about the briefing and the strategy, something that it was critical, it sounds simple, but it's not, is that the work shouldn't be bicultural or bilingual well, bicultural it would be. The audience is the one that is bicultural. So we needed to actually develop work that will connect, but that will be meaningful to them, not something that actually has, you know, cast that is bicultural in a way, which is something that it's used a lot. It's very easy, so there's a risk, because it's very easy when you're trying to connect with this type of people to get into stereotypes or to alienate people. So that's because you become too Hispanic or because you become too American or too Anglo in the tone. Especially because this campaign, we wanted for this campaign to run in any language. We wanted to connect with biculturals that were in Spanish, language media, and in English language media. So we needed to be very careful not to alienate anybody, but to truly connect with this audience. So that was a really, really big challenge, to be honest. So the solution. In the solution, really what the most important thought, and I was building this to the feelings that they have, the solution is coming from this thought that this is really powerful people, and powerful people need powerful companies that will really get and understand how they feel and can live up and serve to that, to what they need and who they are. So Xfinity, in this sense, really it's fueling and helping these people live a more richer life based on all the products and services that they can offer. So the idea, we developed this campaign that we call Because I Can, Porque Puedo, which is this sense of power, coming from the feeling that you can do more things and this ability to do things. And the idea is really this personal statement of people living in full color, inspired by the potential that they get because they live in a bigger, more richer world of opportunities. So don't believe me, but let me show you what we mean by this.
En la vida hay muchas cosas que me interesan. Por eso busco y siempre encuentro algo nuevo. Porque puedo.
Me encanta el rock, pero también disfruto otros tipos de música. Porque puedo.
¿Puedo ver con los niños este canal? ¡Mira! ¿Y este? Y entender y divertirme con los dos. Porque puedo.
Conocer nuestro pasado hace que nuestro futuro sea maravilloso. Por eso me mantengo conectado siempre, porque puedo.
Tu mundo no tiene límites. Vívelo al máximo con Xfinity de Comcast. Con X1 DVR, graba 4 shows mientras ves televisión en vivo. Con Xfinity On Demand, obtén más de 94,000 películas y shows en televisión y por el internet. Y disfruta el Wi-Fi más rápido para el hogar en todos tus equipos.
Yo elijo Xfinity, porque puedo.
El sistema operativo de entretenimiento X1, exclusivo de Xfinity. Televisión e internet juntos como nunca antes.
And I told you that we were going to run out of time, so I'm going to be very quick in terms of the results. As many of you know, Comcast reported last year's in terms of performance, and in 7 years, each quarter last year, we beat all the numbers. So we have grown in terms of our video subscribers. I have to say that there is a large percent of that growth was coming from the Hispanic market and the bicultural initiative that we did. Copy testing results obviously show that we had a high recall and likability of the campaign, but there are 2 key metrics that for me are very poignant in terms of the story that we wanted to build. And it was that in a brand matrix that it's a brand for me, we saw lift of 23% in terms of bicultural Hispanics seeing that the brand was connecting with them. But more importantly, when you see the ads that we created, by the way, you saw only in Spanish, but we had it also in English. Here comes the sharks. We saw that the spots that we created for bicultural lifted at 25% points higher in terms of positive association, differentiation, and consideration with the Xfinity brand versus what they would have gotten from a general market ad. So let's keep calm. Let's keep loving Xfinity as much as we do, because 8 out of 10 Hispanics have a positive feeling towards Xfinity brand after they saw this campaign. Last but not least, this strategic initiative has led us to change the way that we look at the general market and the strategy that we develop for what I call more united market approach versus a total market approach, because I think that it's the way that we should be looking. It's not just creating one campaign that is going to resonate with everyone. Let's unite each of the different audience with one common message. And last but not least, we are very proud of all the awards that we have gotten, and that right now we are a finalist at the FS with this campaign. It's a pleasure.